So, Eva, we can't have it then. I wanted it.
It does. Are you able to, like, there's just like so many powerful words in there. Are you able to say that again a little slowly, Payal? Sorry, we're a little slow today. Words in there which completely missed.
I don't know. We just have to go back to the video.
Welcome back to yet another series. Let's do it again. Yeah, another.
Eva, sorry, but the rooster's going berserk. He's having a blast in the background. You will say last, and we don't do resentment.
Smarty pants. Well, this is where our journey ends.
Oh my God. I really feel that it would be ideal to end with this. Really, it does make sense. It seriously makes sense.
Okay.
So you're going to say that now we come to the last, like whatever, and this is a sum up of everything.
Yeah.
Just putting it in there. Okay.
Just reminding me, is it? Just in case I forget, since Eva, you mentioned your big. Back to the Serenity series, a show where we explore our mind.
Sorry. Sorry, I won't laugh. I promise I won't laugh.
Welcome to the Serenity series, a show where we explore our minds in order to enhance our lives. We've had a beautiful journey together, and I hope that the episodes that we have aired so far have been of some help, at least to you. This would be our last episode, and in this episode we will cover questions and answers that you've sent over to us. And so now let's go to Payal, say hello, and let's get on with the questions. Hi, Payal.
Hi, Eva. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on this journey of the Serenity series. We've really had a wonderful time recording these, and I hope that you've enjoyed and received some benefit from anything that you may have watched. We've done, I think, maybe 7 or 8 episodes, and we've decided to close the series with question and answers, as Eva mentioned. So I'm here to answer anything. If post this episode as well, if there is something that remains unanswered for you, please don't hesitate to contact me. My email and all my contact details are at the end of this last episode as well. Thanks, Eva. We can go to the question.
Okay, so first question. If you are sharing the techniques you use, how would it benefit us to come to you for a session?
Yes, I have shared the tools, and this was a question that was actually asked to me by a couple of friends as well when I initially started and said I wanted to do this, and they were like, but don't you feel that nobody would come to you if you are going to share what you're doing? And I think there's a lot of difference, right, in the experience as well when you're going to somebody professional who has been trained and who has practiced and knows basically the way to go about it. But sometimes doing it on your own, you can also lead to a roadblock, and then you don't know what to do after that. So here, when I'm combining all the modalities in a session, I don't necessarily just do only one modality, like how I've shown in each episode. I've shown a single modality. I don't do that in a healing session. I would do whatever I'm intuitively guided to do. So it could be a combination of everything. It could be, emotional empowerment, theta healing. It could be tapping. It could be family constellation. It can be absolutely everything in one session. I don't know what it's going to lead to. So the advantage of coming to somebody is basically being able to take you deeper, resolve better, understanding yourself better, because sometimes we cannot be objective about our own selves when we're doing it for ourselves, and knowing that there is somebody to support you, because a lot of people are very lonely and they just feel that nobody understands them, or family and friends don't understand them, and they judge them, and they feel judged in every aspect of their lives, in their close circle, outer circle, inner circle, things like that. So when you come to a professional, you're basically coming into a circle which is non-judgmental. It's just encouraging the person to understand what they could do. So the answers come from within them. And I'm guiding them through different techniques, through different questions, through different self-introspection, to allow them to come up with their own answers on what is suitable for them, and bringing in possibilities which they thought that they would never be able to find for themselves or may not see for themselves. So just allowing them to see that there are different possibilities, there is different avenues for hope, and that is why one would come to me over doing it just for themselves.
Yeah.
Accountability is very important, because sometimes when I'm doing it for myself and I may come up with something that I'm not comfortable with, it's very easy for me to stop. I just have to say, I don't need to go back to that, I don't need to look at that, and that's not important, or forget about it, because it's creating that sense of dis-ease within me. But when you know that there is somebody out there who is supporting you, who is caring for you, who's there on the journey with you, it makes it much easier for you to feel that accountability and want to feel that accountability. Sometimes we don't feel accountable to ourselves. We feel that it's fine, let me just, this is not something I have time to deal with right now, or I have enough stress in my life now, this is opening up a can of worms, I don't need to go into this. But when you go to a professional, it is seeing it in a positive light rather than in a negative light. And when we are doing it on ourselves, it's not possible to be that objective every single time. And it's very easy
Mm.
to give up as well. It's very easy to just stop and say, I don't need to do this because it doesn't matter. But if it truly does matter, and it can bring a big shift, a profession would help you bring that shift.
Agreed. And the other thing that comes to my mind is, when you're in the eye of the storm, the only thing that comes to your mind is, how do I survive this? You can't think of alternative ways, but if you have a third party who has your best interest at heart, they're able to look at everything, take every other factor into consideration, and point you in another direction. So basically that, just give you a sense of direction. A professional is one that helps you through that journey to get a better understanding of yourself, enhance your connection with yourself,
And we're
right?
emotionally rejuvenating ourselves. Emotion is basically energy in motion, and it's different forms of emotions that store in our body and then create the disease. So why not go to the core of where the disease is coming from and address it over there, rather than allowing the emotions to store within us, create all the uneasiness within us, the stress within us, all the pressure, and then which then affects our body in different ways. So if I'm just releasing the emotion, and all the techniques that I have given and shared are all about releasing emotions, all about transforming emotions into positivity, releasing releasing suppressed unwanted emotions. So when you work from that point, then you're not allowing the disease to affect you at an energy level, so then disease doesn't seep into your body at all. So actually the
Mm.
emotional work is so important for us to be able to support just our own well-being, peace of mind, and our health.
Why do you do what you do?
So I do it because it's a passion. I believe that every person is whole and complete and beautiful, and and an exceptional individual, a unique individual. And sometimes because of life and its experiences, we go through emotions which we're not able to deal with, and we feel lesser, we feel not good enough. Each person has the ability to do the self work for themselves, with alone or with the help of a professional. But each of us is whole and beautiful and brilliant, and I just feel a lot of gratitude when I'm able to help somebody. When I see somebody walk into a session, feeling low, feeling like, that life's just so unfair to them. And then when they leave feeling light and energetic and hopeful. And I think that that's the best gift that you can ever show anybody, to know the value of your own life and why we're here. And to know that everything you do is valued and you are important, because sometimes we feel that we are not, and we feel that my role doesn't matter really. I just have all these roles and I don't even know who I am anymore. That's a very common question. I just don't know who I am anymore, because I'm just filling all these responsibilities and roles for everybody else, and I've lost myself. I don't know what's important to myself. So I think that you can't really live your life like that, and it's important for me to allow and to allow the person to really recognize how beautiful they are and how strong and amazing that they are in their journey, wherever they are and how many ever roles that they're playing. And sometimes it just takes like the blink of an eye to really wake up to that revelation of, oh my god, I didn't see this in that way and a different perspective. So I hope to bring that different perspective into them valuing themselves again, opening up their eyes to loving their life and loving them in their life and loving whatever it is within them which they have been rejecting or have abandoned or felt that they don't are feeling so painful that they haven't been able to really go back to that or get over that. So I do it because I know that every person is joy, and this is their journey, and I want the journey to be joyful for them. Even if we're self-introspecting, even if we're working on ourselves, it can be a journey of looking up to ourselves rather than constantly looking down at ourselves and criticizing ourselves. So to train them how they can really do that in that moment when they are looking down at themselves, because we are human, and those emotions are always going to come, those thoughts are always going to come, where we doubt or we fear or we feel insecure or criticize. But how quick is my bounce back time when I do that is the significant part of doing all this work, because I'm aware of it. The minute I'm aware of it, I know I can use any of these tools to get back into the present moment of who I am and believing in that power of my life and myself. A lot of people do feel that, but there's nothing wrong with me, I don't really need this. So it's not necessarily only about I'm struggling, suffering, depression, anxiety, all of that we focused on. We focused on that specifically in the Serenity series because people were going through those emotions at this specific time. So it was more based on that. But the work that I do is definitely more widespread across all areas, can be used even at a in a corporate setting. These kind of sessions would really bring clarity to you as to where you're at, where you want to be, and how to get there, and being that bridge, allowing you to get to where it is that you'd like to be at. And I feel that if I can play even a small role in that, I'm really grateful for it.
We are so grateful to have you, Payal. Honestly, you make a difference. So thank you for doing what you do from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for doing what you do. For inner child healing, what if the pain is a lot for the child? I tried it, but the younger me wasn't able to integrate in me.
Okay. So for this, I would say that you need to be patient and you need to persevere with sending love to the child, because we're talking about an inner child. So a child is who is the younger version of you. The emotions that that child feels at that moment, at that age where they have fragmented or broken off from you, is something where it can only resolve and dissolve with love, because that's what love does. So all the child really needs is to know that it is loved for, cared for, supported, it's safe, it's secure, because these are the things that we look for as children. We look to be protected, and when we feel unsafe, we feel that we've been wounded or hurt. So continuously send love to the child. You can go and sit next to the child, put your hand on its head. This is obviously the visualization and the meditation. And continuously tell the child how much you love it, you want to support the child, that you'll always be there for the child, that you care so much for it, that it's a very important part of you, and that you always wanted to be there, that you will always be there by its side, walking hand in hand with the child. It will never feel these feelings of whatever it was feeling, whether it's abandonment, hurt, pain, grief, sorrow, unloved, unwanted, all of that. Continuously reassure the child and send that love from your heart. Feel it coming from your heart for that little younger version of you who was wounded, who went through all that pain and sorrow at that time. So you would know best what that child needs. Continue with that for a couple of minutes, and you will find that love dissolves all the pain, all the sorrow, and that the child will be ready to integrate with you. So the inner child, the younger version, can also be quite obstinate and stubborn. And depending on what age it's coming up at as well, and the circumstances under which it has felt wounded. So just continue to send that love, be patient, and persevere for a couple of more minutes. It definitely does change and it will resolve. And the child will be ready, because the child only wants love, nothing else. So they will definitely be ready to integrate back into you.
I can't seem to find the modalities in all the videos. Which part can I find them in? Ooh, tough one.
That means you're not watching everything. So all the modalities are in the second. If there are second parts to the video, all the modalities would come into the second part of the video, and you can probably go towards mid or towards the end, because what I've done is I've covered the first part, which is the content of that video, and then towards the end it goes into the modality of that specific content. But what I would also urge you to do is, if there is a specific topic, I'm not saying watch everything, but if there is a specific topic that you're looking towards for the modality. Try and watch as much of the topic that you can, because when you understand the topic better and you understand the situation better about your emotions, when you do the modality itself, it's far more effective because you know what it is that you can pinpoint to work with. Otherwise, it can really get to working with a needle in a haystack if you're not sure where to start. So the content part is important because that would guide you. It's to making you more aware of what emotions lie where for you, and from that you would be able to pinpoint where it is that you need to start your work with, and then the modality obviously helps you to take you forward in that work and bring you resolution.
Next one. Sometimes I feel I'm carrying family patterns and all this emotional baggage isn't even mine. Which modality can I follow?
Interesting question. So yes, we do find ourselves sometimes not understanding the root of where something is coming from, and we're unable to explain it in this life. Like we're not unable to. There are no events that have occurred for us to feel a particular way. For example, somebody may have a phobia and they don't know where it's coming from. um, this There are two modalities that you can do, and this is not something that you can do on your own. So this you would need to visit the relevant therapist or a healer who does this practice, these modalities. One is past life regression. I think that's commonly known. A lot of people have heard about that. It's about taking you back, and the therapist will take you back into a relevant life, a previous life, if you believe in that. And that lifetime will have some lesson or learning which is related or which was incomplete at that point, which will relate to this life. So you go back into that past life and you resolve the issue over there, and then you're able to bring back those learnings and bring that in and integrate that into your current life. So that is one of the modalities that you can use. And the second one, which is really very, very effective as well, which is called family constellation. So, family constellation is a therapy on transgenerational trauma, and how, through the field, unconsciously, through the field of love and the energy of love, we carry down patterns from our ancestors, and we're not even aware of where it's coming from. So, this kind of therapy really works to understand. It's a process of revelation, because it helps us to understand where the entanglement was, where the energy was not in place where it should have been. There are a couple of rules which go into that and something from. I highly recommend this therapy. It's really very, very effective.
Thank you, Payal, for that. And I think this is a good segue into the next question, which is related to responsibilities. How do you fulfill responsibilities without losing individuality? So the one way one of our viewers have tried is, by putting boundaries in place. However, if that has not been exercised for at any point in time, and it's something that has just been introduced, obviously there is going to be a pushback. So and there could be dire consequences as a result of that as well.
Right. So I think in one of the episodes we had talked about boundaries, where we discussed where every time I'm saying yes to something outside of me, someone outside of me, when I actually want to say no, I'm then saying no to myself. So to keep that in mind, now when you want to set up boundaries, it's something that is different not only for you, because you're also setting up a boundary in relation to something outside of you. So to understand that when we're doing that and we're taking up the courage to do that, and understanding for ourselves that we do need to set a boundary within which we want to work, because there's obviously we want to set up a boundary because we are finding that something isn't working right for us. We're feeling that something is, burdening us, or we're lacking something, or something is not feeling right. So that's when we decide we want to set up a boundary where we're taking maybe too much of responsibility. Now I am shifting what another person's expectation is going to be from me. So I have to be prepared to know and to understand that there is going to be some kind of feedback from that person, be it positive or negative. So some people may, when you say that, this is what I can do and this is what I cannot do, are open to accepting it, but some are not. And and you will face that negativity back. So how prepared are you in your preparation for setting that boundary is what is important. So am I ready to listen to whatever that person's going to say, whatever negative feedback I may get? Am I ready with the strength within me to be able to counteract that? Because otherwise what will happen is, you set the boundary, it's a great vision that you have for yourself, but the minute the other person comes back saying, no, but how could you do this, or we fear the rejection and the pain that comes when somebody is not accepting us uh, in doing what we were always going to do. So I have to be ready to receive that, and how I'm going to receive that and counteract that is one step forward towards setting that boundary. So you need to have both the steps when you're going forward to set a boundary, because suddenly you're breaking out of something that is the normal and you're creating something
Mm.
new. Nobody is going to be comfortable with it. Neither you're going to be comfortable, neither is the other person going to be comfortable. In fact, the other person is going to be really uncomfortable with it. So
Mm.
you have to decide for yourself to what extent you're ready for that. Prepare
Mm.
yourself for that, and know that if I'm so convinced that this doesn't work for me anymore, I am going to be able to deliver that expectation that the other person is having from me. I'm going to be able to talk, have a dialogue, deliver it in a different way, set what is okay for me, what is not okay for me, and then be able to bring that entire package to the other person.
The next question is, ooh, interesting. The past is the past. And what is the point of me revisiting all of that so many years later? Valid question.
Okay, so yes, that's an important point. The past is the past, but the past is remaining in the past as long as it's not affecting me in my present. Then it is called the past. But if
Mm.
something of the past is still holding me, is still gripping me, is still not allowing me to move forward or to be even in this present moment right now, and it is impacting me negatively, then it's very important to visit it and face it for what it is and transform it. Otherwise, I agree with the person who sent the question. The past is the past. There is no point in revisiting it. We only revisit it to a point when it is currently impacting us in this moment and in our future, and in maybe decisions that we're unable to take because we are still stuck in the emotion or the memory of what that earlier event or person brought to us. So it's only when I'm stuck in that is when we go and revisit the past. Otherwise, there is absolutely no need to visit the past.
Thank you, Piper. That completely, totally makes sense. Actually, we are airing another episode along with this one. It is on the present moment. So, why dwell on the past when you can dwell on the present moment and, prepare for the future? So the next question is on the emotional empowerment technique. So in emotional empowerment technique, you mentioned to scale it. What is the purpose of scaling to the intensity from 0 to 10?
Okay. So in emotional empowerment, we're basically working with emotions and we're working with energy. So when we're discussing emotions and when we are describing something, we can be very vague about it. So when I'm giving, so I can say, oh, I feel fear, or I feel scared, or I feel insecure. But when I put it on a scale of 0 to 10, and I think that's the question, like, why am I scaling it? When I put it on a scale of 0 to 10, I'm making it a physical reality. I'm making it tangible. I'm making myself being able to see where I'm really at on that scale, to understand for myself the intensity of what it is that I'm feeling. Now, when I do that and I make it real, I make it as a figure, as a number, my mind registers that as, okay, I feel it as 9. Or I feel it, and sometimes people are surprised and they're like, oh, I only feel it like, say, 2 on 10. I don't even feel it as 10 on 10 or 9 on 10. Then that's also a reality check for you, that somewhere in your mind you made it so big when actually emotionally you're not really feeling that it's so big. So that's one of the reasons. The second reason is, when I have a tangible figure in front of me, and when I start to do the breathing and the this rubbing on the side, which is emotional empowerment, with every round the number should go down. So if I've started with the intensity of 10, the number should start to go down, so I know that I am actually doing and releasing the emotions that are impacting me. And when I start to do that, I start to know that the technique is working, so that I know that I'm releasing. So finally it should come down to 0. To mention that sometimes the number may not go down, and if the number doesn't go down with every level of your rubbing or tapping on the side of your palm, to know that there is something deeper at that level, and to try and go deeper within that level. Because if it's not going down, there's something that, it's not, you're feeling scared to address it, or you're feeling scared to reach that core issue. So, at that point, you can say to yourself, like when you're rubbing or tapping on the side of your palm, you can say to yourself that I am safe. It's safe for me to go to the core issue. And then you'll find that you're able to address the going further, because then when you address that, it goes further into it's like an onion peel. It just opens up every layer, it opens up, and then you are able to go forward. So
there is one last question, which is, what can I do if I feel I don't have courage and have too much pain within me with regard to someone and healing that relationship? Where do I start?
So for this, I would say, first start at an energetic level on what you want to say to that person. So just close your eyes, take 3 deep breaths, visualize that person in front of you, and say whatever you want to say to that person. All the pain, all the blame, all the anger, all the angst, whatever it is that you're feeling, disappointment, rejection, have a dialogue and get it out at an energetic level with visualizing the person in front. That at an energetic level, you're basically allowing the energy to release. So the negative emotions to release by expressing yourself. That is one way to do it. If you feel, so you can do this over a couple of sessions, where in the first session, you're only saying what you want to say. And then you finish the visualization, you breathe in and breathe out 3 times again, and open your eyes. Then the next day or a couple of days later, whenever you feel you're ready, again, visualize that person in front of you. And again, if you feel there's something that you forgot to say the first time, say it the second time. Do that again, give a 2-day or 3-day gap, whatever you're comfortable with. And then again, go back to the visualization. And this time, allow the dialogue to come back to you. Like you say whatever you want to say, because by now you would have already released quite a bit, because, you've said it twice. Now, when we do it at an energetic level, it is not so much about being the victim all the time, because at an energetic level, we work with the energy of love, and that is the energy of love is the energy that binds us all together. We all come from that love, and we all go back to that love. So it's a reality, and it's not something that's an illusion in our minds. We come from the energy of love, consciousness of love. So when I'm doing it at an energetic level, whatever I have to hear back, I just listen to whatever that person is saying back to me. No response, no reaction, nothing. Just listening to what that person has to say back to me. Go back for another 2-3 days, contemplate about what that person said back to you. Then when you feel ready again, go back and have another dialogue with that person. And I'm using the word dialogue, okay? Not reaction over here, not blame. Because by the 5th or the 6th time, you should have been able to release so much that now you're ready to be in a state of equilibrium to reply back with respect and receive with respect. And you will find that your energy has got much lighter by the time you've done that. If some people have a problem with visualization, the second thing that you can do, which also a lot of people use, is writing. You can write down everything that you're feeling about that person. And then you can symbolically, like you tear it up. It's like a symbol of, okay, I'm letting go of all my, all the emotions here. I'm tearing it up. Or you can burn the paper. Be careful when you're doing that. And you continue to do that to express all your emotions. So that's the second way that you can do it.
Payal, it's been such a lovely journey. Thank you for inviting me on this. Really, it's breaks my heart that we're saying we have to say goodbye on this one. But I'm sure we will do something else, and we will work together again. It's been lovely working with you.
Thank you. And likewise. And I'm sure that we'll be back. So, in a couple of months with maybe something new, something refreshing. Things would have changed as well in the current situation for everybody. We'll be back to a new normal. So maybe we could work on something addressing that in the months to come.
When I did tell some of my friends that, this might be our last episode, they protested. They were like, no, this is so unfair, Payal. You can't be doing this. But yeah, so Payal, thank you.
No, I just wanted to say thank you to you as well, Eva, for having done hours and hours of editing and, the recording, and through so many different challenges that we've had to go through to really make this happen. And for your support. And really, Eva was one of the first people who really pushed me to do this and to get on screen and to go live and things like that. So it was important. I see the importance and the significance of having done that now. So thanks a lot for pushing me. And I just want to say a very big thank you to, all the friends and family who have supported us, and all the feedback that I've received from, people over Facebook, I haven't really been in touch with for so long, and they've watched it and inboxed me, and something that you can always revisit, because these are the topics that we've covered are things that you go through at different points in your life. So it's not that, oh, because I've resolved inner child, I don't have anything more to resolve. It never works that way. We're always work in progress, right, till our dying days. So these are online, on Facebook, YouTube, on my website. So you can come and revisit them at any point to go back to something. And if there's any other way that we can help you, please don't hesitate to reach out to either Eva or me. And of course, if anybody has anything that they feel that they would have liked to hear about and we didn't cover in these 7 or 8 episodes, do send it in. I know we've already got one request on resentment, but we'll definitely take that on in the future when we come back. But till then, thank you so much. And thank you so much, everybody, for watching and encouraging us and giving us your support. And please use all the tools to really, really shift such dramatic things in your life.
I think it's time to now say final goodbye. Thank you, all of you, for being a part of this beautiful journey. We wish you the best of luck. Remember to step into your brilliance. And yeah, lots of love. Thank you for your support. It's goodbye for now from Pyle and Eva. Goodbye.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Pyle.
Bye.
Bye.